DK Metcalf lets loose on a fan. We'll talk about it. Plus, playoff seeding. Is it all decided? What's undecided? We'll break it all down with Dalton Wasserman from PFF. The Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital Live starts right now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. Cause Franco is born, it's all we're gonna do. And Boy Green is always on the scene. And we're gonna always bring it to you live streaming. So get ready. Get ready, cause here they come.
You know, it's more like Manchild is on the scene and Boy Green is just hanging in his house because I am on the scene. I'm down in New York City where I'm experiencing the race to number one. And we're talking about number one overall in the draft, of course, between the Jets, the Giants, and several others trying to get in the mix. The Raiders perhaps might have something to say about all this when it's done. Or maybe the Cleveland Browns will have something to say about all this after they pile up the losses. So we'll get into it all and break it down. And you heard me tease there the DK Metcalf situation. We'll see what, if anything, Dalton Wasserman knows about that or thinks about that. Kind of an incident that happened during a game that kind of flew by the wayside and now will have to be dealt with by the NFL. We'll see how strict they are. But without further ado, let's bring in our guy, all things NFL, our NFL insider from Pro Football Focus. It is Dalton Wasserman. What's up, Dalton? And happy holidays as we approach the big holiday this week.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, man. What a fun weekend it was, huh? We had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, real quick, let me just wish a happy holidays as well to Dalton, but also thank you for the flexibility. You may say, wait, what the hell? Is it Wednesday? Is it Christmas Eve? Have I got all the final gifts? Whoa, calm down, people. We just called a quick audible at the line of scrimmage. A lot of our normal guests and things will be all out of sorts. So just keep an eye out to the YouTube channel here, MC Show Digital, and we'll catch you up on all that jazz. So Dalton, very kind and generous to jump on our Monday recap show. So we won't have that Wednesday live show coming up here. Instead, we're going to pack it all in today. So Dalton, thanks for the flexibility.
Oh yeah, no problem. You know me, Wednesday, I got to take it down to Florida. I got to have me a warm Christmas for the weekend. So we'll be all right down there. It'll all be good. And then we'll get back up. We'll get back on track next week.
Excellent. All right. Before we get to the, dare I say, on-field stuff, let's just start with this little incident that I teased about DK Metcalf. So it was an incident behind the bench during the game. It was actually a little before halftime. A fan that was clearly decked out in Lions gear, the blue wig and other accoutrements that made it pretty clear who that fan was rooting for. The game was in Detroit. And the Steelers, by the way, ended up winning that game. We'll get into the phenomenal or bizarre and controversial ending to that game in just a little bit. But DK Metcalf walked over to a fan who was kind of hanging over the rail. And then Metcalf seemed to have some words. Initially, it didn't look all that violent. And then the next thing you know, DK kind of had the guy by the shirt collar, and then pushed him back. And then that was kind of it. It kind of ended there. No other players came over. And it's not even clear at this point. Mike Tomlin, of course, in the post-game press conference, when did you find out about it, Coach Tomlin? Oh, I don't remember. So he was being very, very vague. Obviously, the league is going to weigh in on this. What did you see there, Dalton? What is the word on the street about what's going to happen with DK here?
I don't know. There's likely some sort of fine. I don't know if there will be a suspension or not. Obviously, you can't put your hands on people, right? There's levels of trash talking at every stadium. And obviously, the league is going to investigate what was said and what line was crossed, right? And what really set DK off. And honestly, I believe Tomlin when he says, okay, he didn't really see it or didn't know anything about it because he's got a lot going on the sideline, right? More so than, people who are picking fights in the front row of the stands. I mean, that's something I usually see more so when I was coaching high school ball, right? When you get people, over at the gate, over the front row, 10 yards behind the bench. And then you get one of the high school kids going over there trying to pick a fight with somebody. So, I mean, it's something that obviously can't happen on both sides of it, right? If there was something egregious that was said that crossed the line, obviously some stadium security, they're tighter on things like that than others, but it really needs to be cleaned up both ways. And it really does. When it gets to a point where it has to get physical, it's not good.
Definitely not. And
I was going to say, just to touch on that another second. I mean, to me, doesn't it make sense, Dalton, to have like a barrier, call it a roped off area, some kind of barrier between the fans and the players right there on the sideline. Because the fans, obviously, who sit down on the sideline in the front row are very close to the players. The players can certainly hear what they're saying and so on and so forth. But to just essentially deter, it's almost like when you go to a concert and there's that pit in front of the stage, and then there's, of course, always security in that pit. So if anyone got over, dare I say, the barrier or the wall to want to get up on the stage, you'd have a moment or two to clear that thing out before that person ever got up on the stage. I mean, to me, it just seems logical. We've put netting in Major League Baseball stadiums now to protect fans from foul balls. I mean, we've done a lot in sports. I hate the fact that we're taking it away from the fans, but these dangerous situations might require it once again.
Right. And I mean, there needs to be some level of conduct that the fans need to adhere to also, right? And they just, you hate to say there's just a certain percentage that are kind of be delinquent about it. But I mean, that's just kind of how it goes, especially in these high energy situations and you're dealing with road teams and things like that. So, I think it's always a conversation about behavior of certain people and how it should be handled and how it should be prevented. And then without, like you mentioned, hindering the fan experience at all. So it is a tough balance right there. And I'm sure it's the part that makes me think Metcalf won't get too serious a punishment. But again, taking it to a level where it gets physical could be a different line there.
All right, and just one more on this one. Again, I think we're all on the same page here, and I can probably speak for all of us here. If the fans said anything derogatory in any way that clearly crossed the line that we're all aware of, then the highest punishment that's possible for that fan should be there, and 100%. Nothing excuses what DK Metcalf did, but if we all know a line that was crossed, if that was crossed, then that's the case. But there's two stories here, and I don't know, maybe the security is going to be able to fight this off. I don't know if they'll be able to. So the fan has already done an interview, because why wouldn't he, with the Detroit Free Press. And he said what he said to DK Metcalf to get under his skin was he called DK Metcalf by his real name. So DK Metcalf, we all call him DK Metcalf, but his real name is DeKalen Zacharias Metcalf. And he thought that seeing the Key and Peele sketch or something, that it would get under his skin and like say his name back to him, even though he called DK Metcalf. That's what the fan says.
So that's the fan's version. Okay.
Side of the story. And he says that bothered him. Now, to me, I mean, I'm not DK. I do know a few people in my life that like their name's Christopher. And if you call them Chris, like they're going to lose their bleep. And so I guess you never know with someone's name. I guess that could be. But that didn't, when that was the first story that came out, to me, that doesn't sound enough where if I'm DK Metcalf, I grab a guy by the fake hair and punch at him. That doesn't sound enough to anger me. The other story that came out is much more, the other side of the story real quick that came out much more serious. Ocho Cinco said he spoke with DK Metcalf on their nightcap show with Shannon Sharp, and he said that the fan said the N-word and the C-word about DK Metcalf's mother. So if all that's true, then all hell breaks loose. But these are so diametrically opposed stories. We'll see if the NFL security can review this. But apparently that's the two sides of the story, and that's what's happening here with this situation. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll ever get any tangible proof of it either way. Certainly, the league is players first, more so evil than the fan situations. Like, I would think look, there's going to be the investigation. If interviews are all they can get on both sides, then so be it. But it's also why I think there is a moment here where you can be more lenient with DK because look, these things do get said and it's terrible. And I just don't ever understand like the fans directly attacking a certain player, a certain person. Like there's a level of talking and trash talking that's like, okay, related to the game or, he dropped a pass or something like that. But you start doing things like that. It's just not necessary. So, I'll never understand that mindset of wanting to pay all that money to sit in the front row and say either way. I don't, whichever one, obviously much worse than the other, but just saying directly attacking anybody. Like, what is the point? What is it? What now it's a big national story and whoever this guy is in the national spotlight for all the wrong reasons. So I never understood it anyway, but that's why, again, I think, in situations like this, yes, I think it's a lesson for Metcalf of, hey, don't let it get physical. There's cameras everywhere. Everyone's watching all the time. But if it's something, especially on this really egregious line of that really upset him, then I get it, right? Like these are things that shouldn't be said anymore, and yet there's too many places where they are.
So
Yeah.
let's bring it to the football element,
Mhm.
Lurch. The craziness of that. I mean,
That
the
final
Steelers were,
play.
yeah, the Steelers were up big. Detroit comes back, and then there's this wild sequence at the end where Amon-Ra appears to clearly OPI Jalen Ramsey. He catches a ball. It's uncertain, and the stadium's loud. Was forward progress called as he's getting driven backwards, and he flips the ball back in the general direction of Jared Goff, who grabs it and launches into the end zone. Now, if there's a penalty on the Lions and the Lions scored, the Steelers will have no choice but to accept the penalty to at least force the Lions to try again, potentially. But because time expired and the backwards ball with no time up, it couldn't be advanced. So then it was a touchdown, but it wasn't a touchdown. Very confusing. And then massive ripple effects. The Lions are now on life support for the playoffs, and the Steelers are just one win away from punching their own ticket to the AFC North. So a lot of drama here and a lot of potential ripple effects on both sides of the conference.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at both sides and what that win and then the coinciding loss for Baltimore did to the Ravens' chances of making the postseason. And you mentioned that the Lions on life support. They're in a win-out, lose-out situation now with Green Bay on the other side of it. And honestly, I think they got the call right when it comes to St. Brown basically bench pressing Jalen Ramsey. I mean, guys get away with it sometimes. You know, an offensive pass interference called a lot less than defensive, unless it is in that New England game. But, you know, I think that was the right call. The more questionable one is the first down call when they had the offensive pass interference on
play,
Isaac Tesla on the pick play, which sometimes is called and sometimes is not. And I think, you know, we've talked about this with other situations before. All you're looking for is consistency. Are we going to call this a lot? Are we not? Are we going to call it throughout the game? Are we only going to call it in big spots when it's in the spotlight? So I do think the last play, they got it right, and obviously the Lions can't benefit from a penalty of their own. I think it's right that they don't get another play, but the first one is more controversial, and the consistency of pass interference or a lack thereof at times in general is a problem.
All right, enough on the Steelers. Let's talk New York football for a moment. I know the games were not all that scintillating. The Giants go down to Minnesota in thrilling fashion. The Jets get thumped in the second half by the Saints. But what is fascinating is one of these two New York teams could and might very well have the number one pick in the NFL draft. And this has become a race now with only 2 to go. I mean, my Giants, all they got to do is lose out. They can't blow it. Dalton, it's over. They get it. But they've got the Raiders next week in Vegas. And you see where the Raiders are sitting. Boy Green's got it up there. The Raiders right there at number 2. Giants edge them out on strength of schedule. But it will change if the Raiders win and if the Giants win and the Raiders lose. Raiders, by the way, were very competitive this week, but did not get the W. So let's talk about the race for number 1, Dalton. Who has the inside track? Who you think is going to get it?
Man, it's a little tougher because I'd say before this week, I would have told you pretty solidly the Raiders, but they actually put up a pretty good showing in Houston against the Houston Texans, only, I believe, a 2-point loss there. And that game now, with the way the Raiders played and with the way the Giants passing game just looked yesterday, that feels a little more even. I mean, obviously the inside track is whoever loses that game, right? I believe the Giants play Dallas in their final weekend, and the Raiders have an interesting situation too. They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 18, and they're an absolute mess right now. Gardner Minshew, a rumored ACL tear. They just got whacked by the Tennessee Titans. So the Raiders it's kind of a weird situation where they have 2 winnable games in their last 2 weeks, and you never thought we would say that about them against Kansas City, but here we are. There's a chance they win their last 2 games and mess up this whole order. So right now, the inside track is still the loser of this game in Week 17, but it gets a little bit weird, I think, especially if the Giants were to beat the Raiders, but the Raiders still going to turn around and play Kansas City here. That could be a win also.
All right, Dalton, here it is. There are 4 teams in the race for the number 1 overall pick. It's obviously the Giants and Raiders at the top, Browns and Jets. So those are the only 4 teams that have a legitimate path to getting the number 1 overall pick. Who is it most important to get the number 1 overall pick? Obviously, you know, like we talk about the Giants, they could get it, but trade it. The Raiders, Browns, and Jets seem desperate for quarterbacks. If you had to try to, you know, assign who wants it more, you know, it's the holiday season. Who, you know, you have those 2 teams fighting for it. Who wants to win more? Who needs it? Or in this case, who wants the lots more, I guess. So, Dalton, who needs it the most of these 4 franchises?
To me, the answer is the Raiders. I think the Jets, when you look at the ammo they have to trade up if they want to, let's say the order is like it is right there, and they have a trade up opportunity there to get ahead of the Raiders with the Giants. It depends on how badly the Jets want to take a quarterback in this draft. But if the Raiders are sitting there at number 1, they eliminate that. They can, take their pick of Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore or whoever it is that they may want for that position. Because I think right now they are the most likely to take a quarterback. I don't think Geno Smith is going to be there next year. I think Pete Carroll, assuming he is still there, is going to want to reset at that position. They need a quarterback, right? And they need to add more weapons around him as well. They need the offensive line to get healthy. But I think it is most important to the Raiders. If the Giants or even the Browns were to get that pick, maybe the Browns would take a quarterback. I don't think their team is equipped for that. I think they would be trade down candidates. I think it's most important to Vegas.
All right, Boy Green, I know you want it badly, but Vegas needs it even worse than you. Today's broadcast, by the way, brought to you by our friends at Bayberry Automotive. Integrity in everything. Now, 2 locations. They're celebrating the holidays, dare I say, in style with 2 locations. Let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends from Bayberry. We'll come back. We got to talk about the Bills running their way to victory. The Jaguars, very impressive in Denver. We got to talk about that path that the Jaguars are on right now as well. So that's coming your way. Stick around. Plenty more to come. Manchild Show with Boy Green. Digital right here.
Integrity is a word that some people just throw around in life. But at Bayberry Automotive, integrity is everything. Integrity of their mechanics, who are all experienced and certified. Integrity in the work they perform, with nothing but 5-star reviews from satisfied customers on Google. Integrity that goes along with family. A family-run business that treats you like one of their own. Integrity in everything. Bayberry Automotive. BayberryAutomotive.com.
Located on Route 57 across from Bayberry Plaza, the premier choice for auto repair in Liverpool.
All right, we are back talking all things NFL. We have moved Dalton Wasserman, our usually a Wednesday discussion about all things NFL, but as most of you know, Wednesday is Christmas Eve, Thursday is Christmas Day. So we've moved our whole Manchild Show with Boy Green digital schedule kind of up into Monday and Tuesday, and we'll kind of leak our materials out this week, but a lot more of our stuff I think will be coming a little earlier. So we asked Dalton to jump in here and do our Monday live show with us, and so we are Monday morning quarterbacking everything with Dalton this morning. And again, today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Bayberry Automotive. By the way, we did have a giveaway, Boy Green. Let's take care of that business really quick. I told you once we got to our latest landmark, 425 subscribers, that we were going to give away this beautiful autographed photo, all right, of the from the movie Slapshot of the Hanson brothers. There it is. All 3 Hanson brothers signatures very clearly on there. Very nice black and white photo. And at the bottom there, it's from Universal City Studios. I guess that's where I acquired that photo from many years ago. So anyway, Boy Green, we have picked the winner. Do you want to announce the winner, or should I? We know the name of the winner, and it's a very familiar name. That's the shocking part of it all. Fantastic.
Yeah, and again, it's at random, folks. So this is the cool part about it. We keep doing these free giveaways every subscriber mile marker. We're getting to another one. We'll talk about that in a second. So, Lurch, please do the honors.
All right. The winner is Hep. Right? Is it John Hepburn? Is it John? Is it John?
It is. That's his full name. Yes, John Hepburn.
Okay.
So
John Hepburn.
yes.
Hep won the photo. So Hep, I have it with me, as you see, right here in good old New York City, in a nice folder. I will pack that very neatly and send it off to you. Boy Green, reach out to Hep and get his address and whatnot so that I can send it to him if you don't already have that.
Yeah, will do. I will absolutely do that. So congrats to Hep. That's pretty cool. But don't fret if you were really interested in that Slapshot photo that you didn't get. We have 428 subscribers, which means we have 22 spots left for this next giveaway. One of our first 450 subscribers will get this beautiful piece of Jets history, a 1972 official yearbook cover. I'm sure he does. He's a Jets fan. We got a couple of Hall of Famers here. Joe Namath, John Riggins. Again, if you're one of our next 22 subscribers, all you have to be is one of the first 450. You'll be eligible for this giveaway. We'll continue to do the free giveaways. If you remain subscribed to the channel, you're eligible for all of these giveaways moving forward, and we'll keep doing them here on the channel. So our next one coming up is 450. So we're 22 subscribers away from that one.
Very cool. All right, the 2 New York teams. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
That picture was the last time we were in the playoffs, wasn't it?
Yeah, might be. Oh, boy. All right, enough of the Jets and the Giants and number 1 overall picks. We'll see where that all goes in the next couple of weeks. We'll be watching with bated breath, as they say. The Buffalo Bills running themselves into a win. Boy, they didn't even need Josh Allen. one of our fantasy participators who was taking on Boy Green in this big matchup. We'll get into the fantasy finals, folks. Oh, it's everything you wanted and more, I guess. I don't know. But we'll tell you the results of that in just a moment. But Big Al, a regular here on the channel and a longtime listener on our radio show as well, when we were on the radio side of things, a Central New York native, was playing Boy Green. He had Josh Allen, man. Josh Allen had one of those quiet days, dare I say, in fantasy, a killer. If he just gets a normal day out of Allen, he takes down this guy right next to me. But instead, Boy Green is headed to the championship game. Now, his opponent might have something to say about that. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But thoughts on the Bills and how they ran themselves to victory here, Dalton?
Yeah, definitely going into Cleveland. It's just never easy despite their record, right? Because their defense is so good and you get Myles Garrett in that loaded front seven. And the big goal for the Bills in that game and for Joe Brady was to just keep the football away from Myles Garrett. When you go back and watch that again, that's what they did. They basically ran their entire offense to just half the field. Just stay away from number 95, play it safe, don't turn the ball over and give them easy opportunities, right? And you can just find a way to grind through a win in Cleveland, right? It's very rare that teams go in there and dominate this team despite the struggles they have on offense, because that defense is so good and they cause so many problems. Even for a team like Buffalo, they're good in the trenches. They run great man coverage on the back end. So I think if you're the Bills, the only goal in that game, no matter how ugly it was to go out there and get a win. And the fact that they can do it in different ways, running the football, they didn't need Josh Allen to have an MVP performance like he has so often. They didn't need the big comeback victory, although they were down early in this game. I think they just went in there and it was just, look, let's take care of business, mission accomplished. We don't really care if we cover the spread or any of that. This is a tough team to go into their stadium and play despite their record.
And all that talk
going over to Sunday Night Football. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say all that talk, Dalton, at the beginning of the season about why do we keep why do you keep James Cook? Oh my God. I mean, James Cook has become a very, very key ingredient to this Bills team. As a matter of fact, I can't imagine with the failures that they've had at receiver, how they would even be in the same position that they're in without James Cook. I mean, we know Josh Allen obviously is the straw that stirs the drink, but without James Cook, this team is nowhere right now, and they're certainly not contenders for a Super Bowl.
Absolutely true. The receiving core has struggled at times this year, and Cook is their next best offensive player outside of Allen. And Allen's rushing threat is just as important as his passing threat. They're really good on the offensive line. The tight ends are among the best blocking tight ends in the league. But Allen and Cook on the ground is actually the engine of their offense. And you're right. They would probably not be in the postseason without a back like James Cook.
All right, let's go back to Thursday Night Football, actually. Yeah, let's go back to Thursday Night Football, actually, before we go to Sunday Night Football. What a wild game that, again, also has these massive ripple effects for both these teams with the Seahawks and Rams. And I was watching it. Football coaches tell us this all the time. It goes all the way back to high school football. No matter what you think happened, pick up the ball. So, like, your quarterback throws a pass. Yeah. It seems like it's incomplete. You just run over to it and grab it just for a second, then hand it to the ref. Clear possession. They always taught you that in high school football when we did that for any play. Again, a 2-point conversion, a field goal, nothing. Just grab it and then hand it to the ref. You had possession and you just sort of take care of business. And Zach Charbonnet, I haven't seen any press that he's done, so I don't know if he's admitted this, but I think it was just BS luck. What I just said.
Just picked it up.
It just built into his mind to always pick up the ball. So either luck, coaching, or both, and it ends up being this seismic play, and they go to overtime and everything else. What did you make of it? Because it's an interesting juxtaposition to hear how the Lions and Steelers game came out with the ball going backwards. It's different from a lateral pass to, well, I guess they both technically were lateral passes, I guess, even if they weren't on purpose. So, but it is just an odd juxtaposition that one swings the other way for Seattle, the other one swings the other way for Pittsburgh. It has these effects, and wow, what a game.
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, what a game. Just pure theater. Both of those games between those two teams, and it only feels fitting that we should get a round 3 at some point in the postseason between those two because, I mean, they're two such good football teams, balanced teams, and Seattle really found the run game, and they found a supporting cast outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba to play well. But that play right there, you know who I really feel for is Jared Verse, who made the great play to tip it down, to bat it down, and he figured he forced an incompletion and kept the lead for his team and all of that. And then then the replay comes out, and he's got to be feeling like, man, I did everything right, and it just so happens that it didn't bounce our way. And you mentioned it. It's not like Zach Charbonnet. It's not like he picked it up with a whole lot of urgency, right? I don't think at all that he knew it was backwards. He figured, oh, we're running a screen. He batted it down. It almost looked like he was picking the ball up for the fun of it, just to touch the football. But no, I mean, it's just amazing, just the confluence of events that we got out of that game and just the way that it went. And credit to Sam Darnold for gutting it out after some early mistakes, a pick six being the big one. And I'll tell you, the other thing you get taught a lot in the early days of football, special teams can turn things on its head, man. And Rashid Shaheed with the big punt return really starting to spark that comeback. That's the second time in the last few weeks that a big return from him has really turned the game in the Seahawks' favor. So big time pickup for them, both on offense and on special teams. He's made them a lot better.
All right, if you want to jump to Sunday night, go ahead, BG. I got another question, so jump to Sunday night first.
Yes, and again, another crazy game. So we have Patriots-Ravens. Patriots have a chance to clinch the playoffs. The Ravens are still chasing Pittsburgh, so they have to keep up and then hope Pittsburgh slips up in there with another matchup. And now all of a sudden, well, I guess the weird thing is, let me try to get the Derrick Henry thing in here. How does he get a carry at the beginning of the fourth quarter that puts up Baltimore by multiple scores, and then he never touches the football again? What in God's green earth happened there, Dalton?
I don't know. And it's not the first time. It's not the first time that we've seen this, where it feels like when you watch that team, especially with Lamar Jackson out, right, with Tyler Huntley in the game, you don't want to put Huntley in any sort of position where he has to win you the game. And Derrick Henry doesn't touch the ball for the last 13 minutes, right? You figure you watch that team and you go, okay, he's the closer, right? This is why you pay him all this money. This is why he's top 3 to 5 paid running back. This is why he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. He always gets stronger as the game goes on. He's always so great in the fourth quarter. And then you come out that next drive and the rest of the way, and it's, okay, it's Keaton Mitchell. Well, and I like Keaton Mitchell as a really good football player, but you pay Derrick Henry for those moments to be the closer, right? And the guy who's, when you get to 6 minutes left in the game, he's the last person on the planet anybody wants to tackle, right? And he's just not out there. And especially with Huntley out there instead of Jackson, it just, I don't know, man. The Ravens, they just had this thing the last few years, but especially this year, of just not being able to close games, right? And those last 8 to 10 minutes, and there's just certain moments you think about how many missed opportunities against Pittsburgh. You go all the way back to week 1 against the Bills when they had that big lead and they couldn't finish it off. It just feels like a recurring problem for this team, and it's cost them their season at this point in all likelihood.
And there was there was tons of drama, okay, in this weekend's NFL slate. I got to go to that Bears-Packers game. I watched that entire second half. The unlikelihood of the Bears winning that game. Onside kicks, as we know in today's NFL, without the players being able to run ahead, and be there as the kicker's making contact and forge towards that, the receiving team, has really, really cut it down. I think the numbers were somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 8%. I think 8 was the number that was given by the play-by-play crew. 8% chance that they could recover this. And of course, the Bears do recover the onside kick, and then they go down to win the game. Talk about the drama in that game. I mean, obviously a huge, huge division rivalry game. Fantastic stuff.
I mean, the two stars of the show, of course, are number one, Caleb Williams making that throw in that moment. It's just ridiculous. And making several throws and several plays in so many big moments this year. I mean, the Bears really, they have, what is it? It's 6 comebacks in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous when you think about it. I believe that's the most since the merger. So, I mean, you look at Caleb Williams, and is it always perfect? Absolutely not. For 3.5 quarters of this game, it was ugly, man. It was really, really ugly. And you're playing an injury-riddled Packers team who's got a lot of backups out there, and you're struggling, and you need this win if you want to win the division. But they find a way, and I think that's a credit to Caleb and just the guts that he's been showing late in games. And Ben Johnson, I mean, if nothing else, obviously he's an elite offensive play caller, but what he's brought to that team more than anything is just this belief that they can win any game at any time. And that franchise did not have that in recent years. They really haven't. It's been one of the things, when you look at the previous era under Matt Eberflus, where it was like, oh, they're going to find a way to lose. The Bears are going to find a way to lose. They're up 14 with 30 seconds left. They're going to find a way to blow the game somehow, some way. And now it's just the opposite. It's that you feel like they always have a chance to win, and they just have this belief in situational football that, hey, we can do this. This isn't the same old Bears. And it's just a credit to Ben Johnson's leadership, man. And that's why he's a coach of the year candidate.
All right, I need to get this in, so I don't know. I know we're running out of time, Dalton. So, let's just reveal the cat out of the bag here. Me and Manchild are facing off in the fantasy championship game coming up this weekend. I've won this, so we've been doing this league since 2017. He's won the league twice. I've won the league twice. One of us is guaranteed to get a third championship, which, by the way, just first off, blessed be he. I've read books.
For
I've
sure.
got books behind me on the bookshelf of fantasy commissioners that have been a part of their league for 30 or 40 years and have never won before. So the fact that we've each won twice in a span of less than a decade, and now one of us will be winning a third, is tremendous. Dalton, you've known me a little longer than Lurch, but it's pretty close, okay? But I need to know, who are you rooting for this weekend? Manchild, Boy Green. Boy Green, Manchild. Where do you align, Dalton Wasserman?
And before you answer that, Dalton, you see the comment there on the screen. So Jamie, a.k.a. Jamie, the FedEx guy, is our league historian. He knows everything about our league. Our league is about 10 years or so we've done the champs. Boy Green, you know exactly, because you know how many names are on the side of that trophy. I mean, only one winner per year.
Right.
But he says, and I believe him, he knows this stuff. This is my third appearance in the championship game in the roughly 10 years. All right. And this is Boy Green's fifth appearance in the championship game. I don't like his little comment about you being the GOAT there. Boy Green is 2-2 so far in championships games, including the one other time that he faced me when I absolutely obliterated him, one of the most lopsided victories in the history of fantasy football, period. Forget about our league. I get a chance to do it again here, hopefully, next week. But I'm 2-0 in my championship game, so I'm trying to be the Patriots here and stay undefeated, or whoever it is, the Steelers or some great team that gets it done when they get to the Super Bowl, essentially. And Boy Green is 2-2, but he's made it 5 times, which is pretty darn impressive. Go ahead, Dalton. Now you can comment. Who do you like? What do you think? Go ahead.
Oh, wow, this is tough, man. I wish I knew who was on the team so I knew I could pick the better one. Man, oh man, that's tough. You guys might have to send me the roster.
You want to taste? You want to taste? All right, Boy Green, pull out your roster.
Give me like the 3 best players on each team.
Okay. I'll give you. It's a quick rundown. All right. So my team, essentially, I've got some real question marks. I've had a lot of injuries at receiver, but I had Patrick Mahomes, so now I'm playing Caleb Williams at quarterback. So that was kind of that's hurting me, but he had a good game, obviously, this week.
Oh, wait, Lurch, let's do this. I think this will be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
We each go position by position. You say who your starting quarterback is, I say who mine is, and we'll go through. So go ahead.
All right. So I got Caleb Williams at quarterback. Who do you have?
Dak Prescott.
Okay. I've got Jackson Smith and Jigba as my wide receiver 1.
Go ahead and let's just list all your wide receivers.
Okay.
Your
I also have
starters.
Xavier Worthy. I also have, and then it's just a hodgepodge of guys. I played DK this week. Got a very nice 13 points out of him. I mean, I am ham and egg, and I do have Roma Dunze, but obviously he's been hurt. So yeah, my receiving room is just a disaster. I have Trey Tucker. Okay. I mean, it's like whoever I'm throwing out in the 2 and the 3 these days, Dalton. That's where my team is weak right now. Because Dunze went down and then hasn't delivered in the second half, I really am not just playing with 1 receiver spot. Now I'm playing with 2 receiver spots. Go ahead, BJ.
All right. Let me read my receivers. Justin Jefferson, George Pickens, Mike Evans, Michael Wilson, and on the bench, Stephon Diggs and Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, you can't play them all. That's the unfortunate thing.
That's loaded. I hope for your sake you've been playing Michael Wilson lately. Man, whew.
I sure have.
Yeah.
All right, Lurch, give us your running backs.
Right, running back room. I've got Bijan Robinson and Josh Jacobs. So that's the strength.
But Jacobs
is
hurt.
It's been the rock of my team all year. Jacobs will be back in there. Jacobs always plays as he did this week. He'll be back for me next week. I trust you, Josh. You're in there, baby. Get in there. Lace them up.
All right, my running backs aren't nearly as impressive. Tony Pollard and Kenneth Walker III. So it's been a little choppy.
Maybe, you might be getting hot at the right time though. Tony Pollard's been hot lately.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, tight end, Lurch.
Tight end is Tyler Warren, and in the flex, I've been playing Harold Fannin Jr. Played him again yesterday and got another good pop. So he slid into my flex with all these receiver problems I've had. So that's kind of what the tight end flex looks like. BG, who do you have there?
Yeah, here's my tight end, by the way, getting hot at the right time. Kyle Pitts. Here's his last month. 15 points, 15 points, 45 points, 18 points. So Kyle Pitts, baby. Here we go. And then Lurch finishes off.
I have faith that Pitts will fail you when he most needs to fail you. So
nice.
I would not feel good about Kyle Pitts. If there's anybody on my roster, if I were you, that I'd be concerned about, it'd be Kyle Pitts. And then I probably will play the Denver defense.
Okay. Who's your kicker?
Oh, and I've got Brandon Aubrey as my kicker.
Well, that's a good thing to say. That's a kicker advantage.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
And I've got Cam Little, the Jaguars kicker, and I used the Bills defense this week, but next
He's
week.
got like 4 on his roster. So
That's
which
true.
one are
Let
you
me check
choosing?
real quick.
I do
Do
the same
plan-
thing. I do the same thing, just loading up defenses for matchups.
Okay.
in the
So I'm going to
playoffs.
play one of these two. The Steelers play the Browns, and the Patriots play, unfortunately, my Jets. So it's probably going to be Patriots against the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah, and that Denver Kansas City matchup, man, that's a good one to have right about now.
All right.
That's
So
true,
now you have
man.
all the answers, Dalton.
So you
now
Jet
give us-
people out there, by the way, listen to him. He's going to play that Patriot defense against you to win the chip. Just how you Jet fans feeling about that? Mr. Jet here, who rolls out at 7:30 out of bed every morning and gives you
I
an
do.
hour to an hour and a half of Jets football coverage.
I do.
7 days a week, 365 days a year. Is rolling with the Pats against
Probably.
the Jets against the Manchild in the championship. How do you feel about that, Jet fans? I just want to let you know.
I mean, we've seen Brady Cook play. It's hard to blame him. It's a tough call. I think you got two pretty close teams there. I really like a lot of the matchups there, and it's tough because I got Boy Green's the Jets fan. Manchild, I know you're the Mets fan. You're always riding in Queens with me with the Mets, but. And I
Advantage
even wore
Boy
the
Green, you could say it.
Listen,
I think he's. has the
I
advantage.
even wore the blue hoodie just to tease you, but
Yeah.
I'm going Boy Green, man.
Yeah.
It's football season, and you know what? I actually respect it. I get it, man. I would play the Patriots against the Jets too. I wish I could find them. I would do the same thing. I got to ride with them though. It's football season. If it was something in the summer, if it was fantasy baseball, man, child, I'd be with you. But I got to go with Boy Green on this one.
He's got the advantage. I'm sure mostly everyone in our audience can relate to the TV show Deal or No Deal. All right, we've
Sure,
all
yeah.
and every once in a while, somebody goes right to the bitter end. Okay, and they are asked the question by Howie at the very end: would you like to keep your case, or would you like to switch cases? All right. Say, Dalton, if Howie were here today and offering me, would you like to keep your team, or would you like to switch cases? I think I would take Boy Green's team over mine. You all know fantasy's crazy, and you just don't know. I have been the better regular season person, but injury circumstance and him plucking some lucky guys off the waiver wire. Michael Wilson, who would have thought somebody let Mike Evans out there. Now he's got Evans on his team. That came out of nowhere. He didn't draft him either, Dalton. So he's made some good moves. He's made some trades. He traded for Kenneth Walker. So he's done some things to make his better. I have two. I traded for Jackson Smith and Jigba, traded away some assets for him, 3 assets for him to get him hopefully for a title run, a stretch run here. So it's going to be a battle, but I agree. I think he's favored. But you know what? Sometimes I don't mind going into season as the underdog. So I like that I'm the underdog in the situation. I like that I'm not expected to win. I like that.
Well, I will share this. The lineup I just gave, only 2 of those members of the starting lineup I drafted. Everyone else was acquired hitmen. And they're the 2 P's, George Pickens and Tony Pollard. Those are the only guys that I drafted. Everyone else were traded, waiver wire, everything else out there in the universe. So that's for sure. Shout out to
I have 6
Holly and my son.
starting lineup that I drafted. So there you go. That's it. And if
There you
Doomsday was healthy, it'd be 7. Okay, 7 guys that I drafted that are in my starting lineup. So I drafted well this year, but he's in better shape. He's got the momentum right now, Dalton. He's got the momentum.
But Dalton, I just want to say thank you for being on the right side of history, buddy. I'll invite you to the parade next week. The confetti, the banners. It's going to be spectacular. 3-time champ coming up in the Champs League.
There we go. See that? Sorry, Manchild, I'm telling you. I hate to do it to you, but it just us Jets fans, we got to win something. I don't know. This might be the only trophy. This might be the only trophy we ever get. I don't know, man. It's tough.
True. The hardest one about this one for me, Dalton, is if he wins, I got to hear it for a year.
Longer.
You guys or what? You got or the bragging rights.
Well, you cut off there a minute. What'd you say? Say that again.
I was saying, do you have any sort of punishment like some of those crazy leagues have, or is it just bragging rights?
No, just bragging rights. Just bragging rights. Yep.
Which,
your name on the side of our illustrious trophy.
Nobody's got to get a neck tattoo or anything like that. No, none of that.
No. There'll be
Not yet. But that will be on my mind, not the neck tattoo. But the thing that'll be on my mind is the last time me and Manchild have only faced off one other time in the championship game, and I got my teeth kicked down my throat. I lost like 200 something to 130. It did, or it could have been 100. I don't even know. It didn't matter. Once it got that high, I had no chance. I was just like, Jesus. So it's
over
just
about
been on my
2:30,
mind.
Dalton. 2:30, it was over. I was like,
2:30.
oh my
Okay.
God, I think it's
See,
over.
honestly, that I can almost live with that because it's just like, all right, there's nothing I could have done. When it's like mine this week, if I lose this week, it'll be straight up because I benched Kenneth Walker. It'll be my own fault. Like those are worse than just if he goes out there and puts up a 230. Like it is what it is at that. Like I wouldn't even. That's a loss. I wouldn't take that hard. It's the ones where I make my own mistakes that get me harder, man. That's tough.
That's true. Yeah, we're on the same page. That's the loss I prefer. If I could control it, I'd rather get my teeth kicked down my throat than lose close, because then you're micro overanalyzing this decision. But just the fact that he beat me with a wrench, I need to get him back for my family, and hopefully we'll be able to do that. So, Dalton, thanks for taking the time. We'll keep going on here with our own NFL and fantasy football trash talking conversations. I hope you and the family have a happy holidays, and thank you so much for joining us this week, pal. We'll see you.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you.
All right. Peace out. No less love for you, Dalton. It's okay. No less love for you.
Oh, nice.
I'm in your corner, man. Like I said, if I could switch cases, I would switch cases.
Interesting. What do they say about that? Isn't there like a science or something to it about if you should switch the case or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. People don't want to do that. You have a favorite number or whatever, and it's been sitting there.
And you committed to it,
it's
right?
giving you all that luck. And now I think the part of it is that if you switched it and you were wrong, then you'd really, really regret it even more than if you didn't switch it, because at least you were a person of your you were a man of your convictions, or a person of your convictions.
You weren't swayed last second.
Right. I'm really not all that lucky. Maybe that's the lucky case, So yeah, that's almost everyone. I mean, I'm sure there has been one or two along the way, but almost everyone in Deal or No Deal that has ever gotten to that situation has always kept their case. So it is the rare that it goes the other way. But there probably have been a couple over the history of the show that have gone the other way, and that wouldn't shock me. But this is what I came to the table with. This is what I'm going to go with. But
see, that's good insights for this fantasy matchup, right?
Yeah, you want to switch? You want to switch teams?
I don't. I definitely do not. I feel great.
Oh,
you
want to switch cases?
Okay. Now, there would be something poetic in a terrible way if one of the big reasons you beat me is that Broncos defense I traded you. I mean, that'd be painful, especially with the matchup. They're playing. Okay, I pride myself on NFL knowledge. When Chris Aluakun came into the game, I'm like, who the hell is that? So your Broncos defense going again against Chris Aluakun, I think you're going to be well off, pal.
Yeah. I was just doing a little reading on Josh Jacobs. I mean, I will need Josh Jacobs in my lineup, and I will need him, to deliver Josh Jacobs kind of numbers, or I wouldn't give myself much of a chance to beat you. I mean, I think, I'm in a situation right now with my fantasy team where I have some home run hitters, but they all need to hit me a home run at the right time. It's the bottom of the ninth. There's 2 on, man, and we're down 2, home run wins us the game. That's the kind of thing. So I'm going to need JSN. I'm going to need Jacobs. I'm going to need Bijan Robinson to land for me. I'm going to need Brandon Aubrey to put up some points as a kicker. I'm just going to need all the guns hitting here. And I think your team, with all of these late season pickups that you've had and just kind of the momentum, and you don't have any key injuries at all, you're just in a better position where you have balance across your roster, which is what I always prefer, by the way. The best teams that I've ever had have always been the ones that have had the most balance. When I made that trade for JSN, 2 weeks maybe before our trade deadline, that was a definite swing for the fences, but I was worried about if I start to incur injuries, that I could find myself in a deficit, because I really had nice depth to my team. And, I would have had Drake May on my roster. Okay, Patrick Mahomes, you're out. Drake May, you're in. Beautiful.
You have Kyron Williams running
back.
Right.
So, and I had Kyron I was running him as a flex every week. So if Jacobs does go down, I plug Kyron in, and now I can go find another flex. I had that Harold Fannin guy. He's a great flex for me right now. So I've had to ham and egg it a little bit, and I've been managing to piece it together. But, top to bottom, your roster is just much more solid than mine. But as we know, in fantasy, that really doesn't matter. So it'll be a fun week. It is always great when we face each other. It's only the second time in our history that we faced each other in this fantasy championship. We created the leagues, like I said, about 10 years ago. And we love that idea of being the only something, and for a while I was the only 2-time champ. And then a couple of seasons ago, Paul won again, and that made him now equal to me. He was a 2-time champ. But if you read those dates, and we talked about this at the very beginning of the season, I have a little San Francisco Giants kind of thing going on.
You
right?
do.
The baseball team, they were winning championships in those odd years for quite a
Even
while.
years.
Or even years. It was like, boom,
Yeah.
another championship. Oh, they don't win this year. Boom, but they win again next year. So they were in that thing. Listen to when my championships were, folks. There's a pattern here, and I like the sound of this pattern. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lurch, you won the league in its first year of existence. That was 2017. 4 years later, you won it again in 2021. And if 4 years later were to happen, that would be
right here, baby.
2025. Unfortunately, mine's every 5 years, so I'm not due till 2028. So that doesn't sound.
You can win it again in 2028. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's very sweet of you. It is crazy. Again, I have a book back here. It's Matthew Berry's book, and he has his own written stories in there. But a lot of stories are like submitted, and he like sort of edits them and talks about them. And there are people that have just been in their own leagues at home or wherever that they've been for 30, 40 years and never won their league. The first 2 years of this league, me and you have won the league, and then have won it an additional time beyond that, and now a third time. So you eliminated the defending champs. So you have some mana spirit going on right now. You took out Jabber's wing sauces. So unbelievable. Wow. There you go. So this is on the line, baby. This is it right here for a third championship for one of us.
Somebody's name is going to be emblazoned for a third time for the first time. I want it to be me so bad. I just wish this team was in a little bit better shape. I wish we had that Titanic matchup. I mean, my team's capable and they can win on any given week, and I might win next week, but your team is peaking. You're peaking at the right moment. And I said it about 5 weeks ago. I said it on the show.
Yeah.
I said it live on the show. I said, something's in the water, man. Like you get this Michael Wilson character, this crazy injury happens with, George Pickens, who's been just a vagabond, all of a sudden figures it out in Dallas. And now he's probably almost more their number one than their number two. I mean, where the heck is CD Lamb? CD, can you catch a few touchdowns instead of the other guy? Like what happened? So Pickens has kind of emerged. And Pitts, then just being able to Pitts all of a sudden, I don't know that guy. I wouldn't want him on my team anyway, to be honest with you. I can't stand that guy. I am one of the many that got sucked into that guy for years and years. And I was like, I am done. I don't care if he's tight end 1 next year. I'm not drafting that son of a, you know what? So, but he has had a run recently as well. So yeah, so everything's kind of hitting for you right now. It's really. But I don't know. I haven't looked at all the matchups. It's always nice to see. Look at this graphic. I love it. All right. It's always nice to see, what teams your guys are playing against. You get a few weak defenses and all of a sudden, somebody pops a little bit more for you. So I haven't looked at all of that yet, but we'll see. Maybe the matchups will favor me a little bit. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it in depth yet, but I will certainly spend some time this week taking a look at it.
Oh, yeah. So there you go. So all the drama, you couldn't have written it any better. It's relatively speaking, random. We have 12 teams in our league. We're all competing for playoffs, this, that, or the other. So what I told my team before the playoffs, I rallied my group and I said, hey, man, one of you is probably not going to hit every week. I just need one of you to hit every week. Well, it was Kyle Pitts. Then it was Kenneth Walker this week. I don't care who does it, boys. Just one of you has to. That's sort of how I constructed my team. That I don't have a Bijan Robinson that I can just rely on every week that's going to just drop me a superstar number.
Yep.
But one of you random people are going to have to hit for me, and that's what I'm counting on.
And that happens in fantasy a lot. That happens a lot. I mean, look at Harold Fannin this week. I was looking around the waiver wire like, who is that? I mean, our waiver wire is so barren. Our guys do a very, very good job. Our league does a phenomenal job of picking up players that are reasonable and everything. So there is just nothing but crumbs out.
Scraps.
And I just looked at every matchup in the receiver room, and I was like, what do I like here? And I just saw a Kansas City team that I thought was going to quit. I saw a Kansas City team that I thought was not going to come out and play defense. Chris Jones didn't even realize his team was eliminated at the podium for crying out loud last week. So, that guy's not going to come out and throw it all out there. Forget it. Patrick Mahomes isn't even playing. This team is mailing it in. Tennessee is going to win this game. Now, do I believe in someone like Chimere DK? Right? How do you say his first name? I'm not even sure.
I can't even remember now.
Name, but DK. All right. And I was like, this guy's shown some capability. He's had some decent weeks. Like he could pop. I need a guy to just give me like a 15er, give me a nice, between 10 and 15 kind of thing. He went out there and got me 13 points, played well, got a touchdown. I was like, yeah, DK. So, sometimes you just have to kind of really look deep and say, rather than just play somebody on my roster because they're on my roster, is there somebody else out there that maybe could just give me a little bit more? And that's what I found with that guy.
Yeah, I was just double checking the name pronunciation. I do have it online. It's Chi Mehre.
Right. Okay.
DK.
Let's just
There
call
you
him
go.
DK. No,
Yeah, but I saw it pop up. I'm like, DK, what the
what's
hell?
he doing? Right? What's he doing?
Yeah,
but
and then like it hit. So
13
it
points.
worked out.
Yeah, you got to roll sometimes when you have these
Mm-hmm.
situations. You just got to try to look at everything and see if you believe in something. So I was just like, boy, I think I could believe this. So I did.
Great news. Philip Larmer saying Adam Schefter says DK Metcalf is facing a potential suspension this week.
Okay.
That's terrific news. Okay. You'll have to rely on a different DK, it sounds like, Lurch, because he's, of course, talking about DK Metcalf here.
DK Metcalf.
The potential suspension. So great.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm not surprised. I mean, because a fan screaming at you from the stands, okay, even if it's terrible, even if he says what, we think that, the DK said on the podcast,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
All right. The fact of the matter is that you're a player and what you do is you grab security and you say, this guy
100%.
is
That's what I was going to say. You
shouting
alert
racial
security.
epithets at
Say,
me and
hey.
could you please remove this guy? He's shouting, saying things about my mother and this is what he said. Could you please remove him from the stadium? And it's over. That's it. That guy could lose his season tickets for crying out loud for the rest of his life. Okay. But the one thing you don't do is go over, instigate, and then touch the guy. That is Ron Artest. Ron Artest went up into the stands during a basketball game because a fan said something that he didn't like when he was near the bench, and it resulted in obviously a catastrophic, crazy brawl in the stands like we've never seen in the history of the NBA. Players and fans throwing blows. What the heck was going on? That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in sports. Well, this wasn't that because he couldn't really get to him all that much. He could kind of grabbed his collar.
One shot, but it looked like he got him in the face.
But I mean, the bottom line doesn't matter. Like you don't put your hands on someone else. You have to understand you're a player. You're held to a different standard. I understand these things can be cruel. These fans are brutal. This guy deserves to be thrown out if he says what he claims he said. All right. But you can't retaliate that way. That's that's gangster mentality. It's just you're taking it to a place that is no one is going to accept within the confines of a professional sport where you get paid to play, where the league makes money, that sponsors are contributing to. You can't have mayhem like that. So regardless of what was said, I'm willing to bet it was probably something not so nice. I mean, I don't know what would make DK Metcalf want to grab a guy by the collar and shove him if it was something,
Well, I hope it just the name.
It wasn't just his name, like the guy said, right? That would be kind of like, come on, man. Like, really? That's going to set you off?
Right.
And that's a little extreme. But
hopefully the NFL security can verify this because, again, we're getting two very different stories. The Lions fan did an interview and said, hey, I was just saying his full name, which I thought would bother him. And apparently it worked. Versus what DK alleged to Chad Ochocinco on their Nightcap podcast of a far more serious and egregious nature. Again, I don't know. I wasn't there, so I have no idea what was really said. But hopefully, NFL security can try to verify this information. If this guy I would imagine in a loud stadium, if this guy screamed it loud enough that DK could hear it, then other fans next to him must have also heard the obscenities. Interview all the fans around, to get some verification here. Because if not, it just seems hard to believe that DK from 20 yards out would have been able to hear what this guy was screaming, and he was the only one who said it and no one else heard it. That would seem hard to believe.
Yeah, I agree. And the funny thing, Paul, is, I mean, the bottom line is, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's not like they got cameras fixated on the stands, but there are so many cameras in a stadium these days because some of the cameras are not even wielded by professionals. They're wielded by other citizens, know? So if someone got this on video, and got some of the audio, and then we have these unbelievable parabolic mics that get these sounds from across the field. So if they put all the resources together and you grab the lip readers, right? We can get the lip readers going too. You're going to know. They're going to know. The NFL is going to have a very, very strong indication of what was or wasn't said. Whether the guy just said his name and that was it, or whether there was a little bit more going on there. So I'm sure the NFL will use every resource at their will to find out at least what was said there. There's probably witnesses very close by that could probably corroborate one story or the other, hopefully that are not a member of that guy's family, somebody that was, dare I say, a little
biased
bit more,
in some way, right?
a little less biased, because the game again was in Detroit. So again,
Correct.
most of the people in that area probably are going to support the fan, but you might be able to find somebody who would give you the real story. So you got that too. And I don't know, again, it didn't appear in the video that anyone was in really close proximity that was on the sideline, because no one even came over, but was someone close enough to hear a little bit of that dialogue? Maybe that was the case too. But in the video, it looked like he was almost over there kind of by himself. I couldn't even tell where he was exactly. He's behind the bench, obviously, and in this area. I was like, why did he walk down to this area? So it was a little unclear to me when I saw the video. But again, I didn't see the raw footage all the way to exactly how it went down. So.
Yeah, let me see. There is a alternative camera angle that has since come out. I was trying to get.
I told you, there's a million angles of everything these days, so someone's going to get it.
So here you go. You guys are going to just see this in a weird fashion. I've been trying to download it, but it wasn't coming through. So you guys are going to see this. This is a much closer angle. And how does not someone, right? The NFL has a great security team. How does someone not possibly get their hands on this? So here is another angle of this. I'm going to throw this up on the screen and go full screen here in just a second. So
he's all the way down by the blue tent. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of see it. And you hear the fan. He actually screams back, "What the F was that about?"
Yeah. Right.
Almost as if he was in disbelief that DK came over to him. Yeah. And DK grabs him and then punches him in the face. Yeah. It looks like there's other fans right around.
Yeah. There's a cop there. There's that.
Yeah. Look, that guy. Yeah. I'm pausing it right here.
Had to have heard something. Come on. You have to interview that guy and say, what was said? What did the guy say?
Yeah. Right. He is so close. How could he have not possibly heard it? You have that guy right there. This event staff member, the guy in the red, I don't know. There seems like there's enough people that you guys should be able to do it.
And obviously you have some of the other fans right there. So they're going to get to the bottom of it. We're probably not going to find out all the gory details. But the NFL has, should get to the bottom of this before they levy any fines or suspensions or whatever it is that may come of this for DK reaching up into the stands and grabbing a guy.
By the way, real quick, what's your gut say? Does he get suspended? Yay or nay?
I think he does, because I think that, anytime you reach up and grab a fan, you put your hands on a fan, regardless of what was said, you should be suspended. Yes, I think he's.
And I think they want to crack the table too to say, hey, other NFL players, don't be thinking around 100%. Right. To go over the top of a suspension, if some people think it's over the top, fine. But that's going to make sure no one else even maybe hints at it. If it's just a fine, say, I'll take a fine. I'll punch someone for a fine. But a suspension where it hurts your team and playoff chances and all this other stuff, it's much more serious.
Yeah, one of the things, just because we got a few more minutes here before we get out of here.
Yeah, right.
One of the things we didn't get to talk to Dalton about, but we should mention is the very impressive win by the Jacksonville Jaguars in Denver. You got Denver at home. I think they were on a 9-game winning streak going into that game.
Even more than that, I believe. I'll pull that up.
I think it was 9, but I could be wrong. I thought I read it was 9. But regardless, they're on this crazy winning streak, and they're in their own place. The defense is obviously one of the best in football. Maybe you could argue Houston right now is the best defense, but Denver's right up there. They've been solid all year long, and yet it
was an 11-game winning streak.
11-game winning streak. Okay, thank you. All right, so 11-game winning streak cracked. And Jacksonville goes in there and beats them 34-20. And I almost think the score isn't even indicative of how dominant it was. It was a very, very dominant win. And Jacksonville, again, warm weather team going into a cold weather place, and the altitude and everything. And they took them out. I mean, Jacksonville now has made a statement about where they stand in the AFC. So anybody that was, they're pretenders. And I don't know what's happened. I mean, somebody obviously gave them some kind of serum or some kind of holistic medicine or something, because Trevor Lawrence is a different guy. I mean, he looked, if you had asked me about halfway through this season, before Jacksonville started any of this run that they've been on, what do you think Jacksonville should do next year about their quarterback situation? I'd say, boy, if they could find a way to unload this guy somehow and get into something else, they're so much better off doing it, right? Holy crow, what a difference, a month and a half makes. I mean, a few weeks make. Trevor Lawrence, looks like an MVP candidate the last bunch of weeks. He's confident. He's doing all of the things that we saw he could do before he got drafted. And the reason he was the number 1 pick in the draft, the guy just looks the part now. He looks, so something has happened. I mean, obviously what that coaching staff has done, the confidence they've instilled in him, he has a ton of weapons. I mean, gosh, he's barely even using Brian Thomas and he's getting by. I mean, all of a sudden everyone's come to life. Everyone wanted Travis Etienne the heck out of there. He's a bum. Look at what the season he's having now. I mean, everybody has rallied here, and he is obviously the head of the snake. And I don't think there's any doubt now, based on this run, that he certainly is more than capable to lead a team, perhaps to the promised land. So kudos to him, man, getting his act together. That's a big, big get there.
Hey, and a big salute to Liam Cohen. He's a first-year head coach. A lot of jokes are made about him. Duval. Oh, what an idiot. And then he left the Buccaneers in the middle of the night, and there was drama. And he apparently agreed to an extension with the Buccaneers, but then he bailed on it to be the Jaguars head coach. A lot of nasty drama there, and he was set to be the next guy in line, right? The Dan Campbell, bite off your kneecaps, even though Dan was able to turn it around too. Liam Cohen deserves a ton of love, and man, and in a wide open AFC, no Mahomes, no Burrow, maybe no Lamar either. Like, man, there is a clear path here to make some noise.
Here's a great one from Jamie on the fantasy front. We'll just run some comments here.
Yeah, sure.
Fun. Sorry, Manchild Boy Green's victory will drive Joe Bartle more nuts, and Boy Green will take over title of fantasy expert. Okay, he's saying Bartle will just be run out of the building, apparently, if you win this year. And we will, by the way, have Joe Bartle this week.
Yes, tomorrow.
We're gonna. I think we're doing it as a record, so we'll get it out to you
live. Actually,
finish. Oh, it's gonna be live. Okay,
tomorrow, live at noon. Yeah.
All right, live at noon tomorrow. Joe Bartle. So there you go. We're doing Joe early this week because he's got Christmas plans. And I said to Boy Green, and once we pass the Monday night game, we're into a new week of fantasy. Let's do it.
Sure.
He can break down our matchup and talk about anybody else's fantasy championships and the kinds of things you should be doing to prep for a championship game. So we'll have Bartle on the show tomorrow. So we certainly will get his take on all that.
Well, I would agree with the fantasy expert. I put in a lot of work because I take a lot of great pride in it. And we've made jokes about the magazines, the podcasts, the articles, all that stuff. But that pales in comparison to what Joe does this for a living. Yeah. I spend much of my hours talking Jets. I don't think that helps at all with anything fantasy related, to be blunt. But it would drive him nuts because he was going to name his team Embargo Boy Green Trades this year. And so me getting to this point with a variety of trades and other moves, sure, winning the championship again would bother the crap out of him, which would give me some level of joy. So that part of it, I agree with Jamie. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know that he loves me winning it either, though, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think he loves either one of us winning it, to be honest with
That's
you.
probably true.
So I don't know. Joe's got a tough rooting interest to decide this week. But chances are
there's some sort of a tie or something.
Yeah, chances are he'll probably land on my side on this one, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'll have to text and ask him. Let me see.
Look, he's got to respect. I mean, we've had our controversies over the years in our leagues, to talk with Joe about different things that have happened. But he has to give credit where credit is due. I mean, I think that, some of the waiver wire moves that you have made have turned out to be brilliant. And I mean, I pride myself on making moves like that. But, having the foresight to go out and grab Mike Evans that he was sitting out there and someone else in the league didn't get him. I mean, you haven't had waiver priority the whole year. That means there were 7 or 8 guys probably below you. You finished in 3rd place. I mean, I had no waiver priority. I was in 1st most of the year, but you were right up there all year long. At times you were in 2nd place. You were near the top of the league most of the season. So you were not getting waiver priority. So where are the rest of the league members who had priority that week in letting a guy like Mike Evans slip through their fingers and land on your roster? So that's mistake number 1. And that's just, you got to give credit where credit is due when someone's paying attention to that stuff and willing to roll the dice and grab a guy like that and see that someone else put him out there in the ethos. I didn't see it, and my antenna is usually up, That was a very, very good move. I mean, we all luck into things now and then. I mean, a few years ago, as you know, I won the league, and I primarily won the league off a trade I made. And it was the 3rd, it was a throw-in guy on that trade that changed everything. I got James Conner. And all I wanted, in all honesty, this was not a targeted trade at all. I was trading for other big players. I think I brought Devontae Adams over to my team. I think that was the key piece in the trade. But I gave up a running back, and I just said, can you give me back someone else that could just give me a little depth or something? Because now I'm only going to have 1 running back on my bench, and I could have problems here, and I didn't want that to happen. Can you just give me a guy? And then he was like, you want Connor? And I was like, all right, Connor will do, sure. And at the time, Connor was just a guy. He was doing okay. He wasn't even what he is these days. He was just kind of a guy, and, he was getting some carries, and okay. And then he just went on a touchdown barrage. And we were getting into the bye week, so I was just plugging him into my lineup because this guy was on bye, and the next thing I know, Connor's a superstar, and he's dropping 2 and 3 touchdown games. I mean, I was like, what is going on here? This is I caught lightning in a bottle, and it isn't even Devontae Adams, the guy that I was trading for. It's this other guy that was the throw-in. And poor Ryan Lee, who traded him to me, must have been like, what did I do? My God. But it was his idea. So you luck into things like that. Again, another good waiver wire pickup for you was Michael Wilson, because of all the crazy stuff that's happened with Marvin Harrison Jr. And Harrison did, by the way, get back into the lineup this week, but they're playing him on a snap count. So maybe by next week that I'm hoping Harrison plays a little bit more. He's on my Chumps League team, actually. So I want him out there, but hopefully he plays a little bit more, because when he plays more, it seems like Wilson's role is lessened, although I don't know why the Cardinals would do that. Wilson has been a stud. I mean, play the guy.
Why wouldn't you keep feeding
crazy,
him? Right.
But it's the Cardinals. That's why. It's Gannon.
Well,
that's why. So you have to worry about bad coaching being part of your bad equation here to fantasy loss. Is Jonathan Gannon maybe controlling one of your players and his amount of touches that he gets in a game, the amount of targets he gets in a game. So that's always kind of crazy when you got to deal with coaches. I remember when I had guys on the Falcons and Arthur Smith was the coach, I was just like,
oh boy,
please stop. I'm never picking a Falcon again as long as this guy is the head coach. He just doesn't use the guys the way he should be using them. And I just didn't get it. And I just wanted no part of it. And I bailed. I said, I'm out. Arthur Smith's the head coach. You can have his players. I don't care if he has the best players in the world. They're not going to be on my team. I don't trust that guy week to week. A lot of people feel that with Sean Payton. Peyton is one of those guys. Who's the star of that team? Like, they have some guys that could be the stars of the team, but Peyton just switches up his receivers every week. The running backs are running different ways. It's just a hard team to figure when it comes to fantasy points. And obviously in the world of fantasy, we're trying to collect points. We want sure things, or as close to it as possible. And Sean Payton just does it his own way. He doesn't give him a hoot, not that he should, about the fantasy world or about superstardom. As a matter of fact, I think he prides himself on having no stars on his team. Maybe that's part of his whole philosophy as a coach, is I don't want anybody shining too much. He'd probably have JSN on his team and he'd be like, yeah, don't worry. Five targets for him this week. We're going to target over here. We're going to go over that way. I just think that's the way he coaches. And so sometimes the world of fantasy, dare I say, you even have to be aware of how coaches coach and how they, utilize their players, especially as the end of the season comes into play, because now you got teams that are thinking about next year. You got teams that are thinking about moving up in the draft, dare I say, hate to say it, the old tanking. All right. And you got teams that just don't want their stars getting hurt. So they're going to either limit them or they might even just sit them at some point. So that's why I'm glad most fantasy leagues at least don't go to the final week of the season, because the final week of the season is a disaster.
Yeah,
but even 2 weeks out, when there's some teams don't have anything in play, it gets a little sketchy. It gets a little sketchy for some players. And you're like, oh boy, I wish I had a team that was at least fighting for a playoff spot. We know they're going to play their guys. So.
Yeah. So we do, I think it's for our Yahoo League, we do the earliest it allows, which is 14 weeks of regular season, and then 15, 16, 17, and then 18, which is the actual craziness of everything you just described is off the table. But even still, right, 3 NFC West teams have already punched their ticket to the playoffs this week. So it's crazy.
Trouble. Could be trouble, and look at what's happened with the Chiefs. I don't think there's any way. I after watching this week's performance, not to give you any tips here, but I don't think there's any way I'm rolling out Xavier Worthy in my starting lineup next week. What are the Chiefs playing for? Now they got a third string quarterback. Minshew's done for. Now they're playing some guy that we don't even know his name, for crying out loud. Like, oh boy, what you talk about a change in plans. What am I doing here? I had a guy that was really valuable, expected to be the long ball threat for Patrick Mahomes.
Especially with no Rasheed Rice.
Yeah.
That
awful performance by Worthy.
Okay.
I think he had 7 points, but awful.
Yeah. All right, Lurch. Okay. So I told you I was going to text Joe Bartle, our fantasy football expert, and say, hey, me and Manchild playing this week. Oh, who are you rooting for in the championship game? And he gave me a very decisive answer.
Did he?
So
okay.
I go to you, Lurch.
I think his answer was death. Death is what I'm rooting for. That's what I think his answer was.
Yeah.
No, but if he had a decisive, is the answer one of the two of us? Let me ask you that.
It is not.
No, it's not. Okay. I didn't think so. So there you go. Therein lies the problem. I had it right. I said Bartle doesn't want either one of us to win it. So what did he say?
Here it is. I just asked Joe in the middle of our live show. Hey, Joe, me and Lurch are facing off in the championship game this week. I was curious, who are you rooting for? He says the meteor that would come crashing down and I guess kill us both.
That's it.
Thank you.
Joe.
Thank you, Joe, for that. And again, we'll get more of that lovely Joe love. That'll be coming up live tomorrow at noon. So that should be a doozy.
Yeah, that should be good. I don't know what we'll see how this all breaks out. I will be back in Syracuse, back home for Sunday, football Sunday
Sure.
next week.
Yeah.
So when we're watching what matters. Are the Saturday games this week again or no?
There's shoe. Let me pull up before I
Sure.
just
I haven't looked at the
turn.
early. I haven't looked at the early schedule yet. But
Yeah, I
know
haven't
usually
either yet for next
they
week. So
sneak in
1 second.
Saturday games, which is fun, for football fans.
Oh wait, there's going to be all kinds of crazy. It's a Christmas week, so we're going to have games on Thursday. They've
Oh,
got
yeah,
3 games
right.
on
We got
Thursday.
Christmas,
We got a
right.
couple of games on Saturday. Oh yeah. We got 2 games
my
on Saturday, 3 games on Thursday. Full Sunday slate.
3
and then,
Thursday games this week? Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's Christmas. Christmas on Thursday, so they have a triple header of Christmas
I didn't
games.
realize. Oh my god! So they're really trying to kill the NBA. The poor NBA once owned Christmas Day, and now the NBA
100%.
owns nothing. The NFL owns
so they
everything.
got
in
a
the world.
triple header games on Thursday,
Oh.
double header on Saturday, full Sunday slate, and then a Monday night game. So we got football all week long. So
Sounds like all day
that's
tomorrow
also
on
why.
working roster. Oh my god!
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And that's also why for the Joe Barto interview, it's just better to do it live because all this stuff is going to happen between now and then. So I don't want Joe to speak out of turn about any matchups or anything.
Okay.
So let's get it live when we have them.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. All right. I forgot all about that. Yeah. I mean, we got games on Christmas now. Why not?
So we're both
NFL,
going to
man.
have people playing on Thursday, this and that. So it's just going to be a poll over these coming days of who does what on any of these days.
I'll tell you this, I'll pledge you this if you agree on your side. If this thing comes down to the wire, let's say the late Sunday games. When did the Jets play? Because I know you got to do your Jets show.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Okay, so good. So if it comes down to the wire, we'll have to see when our guys
I think I know what you're going to say.
If you want to do a live, if you want to pop up on the screen and have your TV on and have mine on, I've got a TV where my studio is. Okay. And kind of go through the literally back and forth, all right, I got this guy, you got this guy. You're up 5 points. Here we go. Literally,
oh my God. Wow.
And literally walk us through the championship blows here, the final blows of the championship. I will do that, as painful as it's likely to be for me. I will do it.
I'll tell you this, because again, both of us can make moves on the waiver wire that change this. But there's one player I know ain't moving from the lineup. He plays on Monday Night Football, so this championship game will not be decided on Sunday. Well, I mean, I guess it could be. It's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could be, right? So sort of, it's sort of like it could be so out of favor unless Kyle Pitts scores another 46 points.
Well, perfect example. Tyler Warren is rolling for me tonight. I don't need Tyler Warren. My matchup is over. I mean, Tyler Warren is just going to pile some points on my opponent's head. So, it might not come down to Monday Night Football. So we'll just have to read the tea leaves and see. I mean, again, I haven't set my lineup. You haven't set yours. But once we get it all set, we can take a peek at it. And maybe there may be, if there's a seminal moment,
drama.
Could be
so
Monday
we might have
drama.
to do it live on Monday. Oh my goodness,
I'll do that.
Like I'm down 10 or something, and I have only Kyle Pitts, and then we're like,
we literally can do the angst of every play. Drop it! Me screaming, drop it, him saying catch
touchdown.
it. Me screaming things at their coaches, him screaming things at the other coaches. Yeah, it could be fun.
Kyle Pitts scores a touchdown. All of a sudden, late flag. It's coming back. There's a hold on the play. Hold on. Jeez. Oh God, no.
If there's drama, we can, dare I say, flame the rivalry a little bit. Because listen. Regardless of who wins, and I'm always a good sport. I hope you will be too. You're not always the best sport because you're just bloodthirsty bastard. I'm really enthralled, and I said this to you years ago when we faced in the championship. Those years ago, the first time we faced, and I said, regardless of who wins, I mean, for the two of us to get here. For you to be making your 5th trip in 10 years is remarkable. I mean, that is outstanding. I think getting there 3 times in 10 years is unbelievable. I mean, we have very, very good players in this league.
It's actually our 5th time in 9 years.
9 years. I mean, that's more than 50% of the time. One of us is representing the championship game. I mean, if you probably put our 2 things together, we might be there, 60 or 70% of the time. I mean, that's crazy. It's really quite remarkable. And there is definitely luck involved in that. This is not a game strictly of skill. But that's quite remarkable. So it's quite the accomplishment. So regardless of who wins, I'm glad it's me and you because one of us is going to win.
I agree.
And the leagues have our name on them. And when we are winning them, it should inspire people more and more to want to compete against us and to, dare I say, step on us, step on us and over us to their next championship and say, hey, I beat those guys that over the years have shown to be very, very good at this little game called fantasy football. So I don't mind that at all. I think that's actually a good thing for the show. And it just kind of shows how into it we both are and how we, really, really try to make this something worth participating in. So if you're not in our fantasy leagues, think about getting in. There always are spots. You just reach out and contact Paul, and there it is. He gives you his information right there. We've been doing this for a long time. We have 4 leagues. And starting next year, we'll both be in all 4 leagues. I was in 3 of the 4 this year. I'm going to open up the last can of worms here, and I'm going to drop down and be part of the Quad Cities League. So,
well, you'll be happy to know this. I was in the final 4 of the Quad City playoffs, so I was 1 win away from being in another championship game in our 4 radio leagues. Unfortunately, I made a mistake. So I had Daniel Jones as my main starter for most of the season, and he was dandy. And I had Trevor Lawrence as my backup. And I'm like, I could maximize my roster. I don't need Trevor Lawrence. I could get another running back or another receiver. So I cut Trevor Lawrence and picked up some other thing because I had Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones' Achilles explodes, and I had no backup quarterback on the roster. I'm like, oh no, I don't have anything to go to. And I ran to the free agency. Trevor Lawrence was long since picked up. And so the only guy out there of any note was Jackson Darts. I'm like, well, I guess. And he helped me win a playoff game the previous week. He scored 20-something points. I said, okay, Jackson Dart, lead me to the promised land, buddy. And he had like less than a point, and I lost in devastating fashion. So you'll be happy to know, while I am the reigning champ of the Quad Cities League, I am inevitably going down here because someone else a new body will win it. So,
and I am out at the Triple C. Maybe has been my most impressive league this year in terms of wins and losses. It has been, and I'm out already. You know, I had a bye, played this week. The guy played, killed it. My team sucked. I'm done. I'm done. I'm like, wow, one and done, man. I had such a good team this year. But that league was extremely competitive at the top. There were 4 or 5 really good teams where every time I played them, I was like, oh, another Titanic battle, man. I'm going to need everything, guns blazing this week. So I'm out already. So I'm not even a factor. And one of the guys, Mike Nikowski, is fighting his way. Nikoski is fighting his way back as well. I think in the Chumps League, he's fighting his way back, perhaps to another appearance in the Champs League. He won this week, so 1 more win for Nikoski, and he is in.
Well, as a matter of fact, if I'm pulling it up right now, if he won,
did he make it to the chip? Yeah, I think he made it to the chip.
Yeah, so he made it to the chip. He guarantees his place back. So Mike Nikoski
Mike, welcome back.
And Lurch, here's this. Okay, this is a name I don't know if you're going to remember. Okay, so Mike's coming back. He's been up and down before. It's so crazy how many up and down times.
Yeah, Mike's been down a few times. He's done well to fight his way back.
So I'm very happy for Mike, and we'll see who the 3rd place game is. That'll be very important. The 2 losers of these playoffs will face off to finalize that last piece.
Because the winner of that game gets the 3rd spot. Yep,
correct. The winner of the consolation bracket of the 3rd place game. But there's a team called Savage Joe's that won in the Chumps League Final 4 and thus punched his ticket to the championship game. He is someone that has been talking trash since he entered the league. And I believe he entered all the way in the Quad Cities. And he's worked his way up, the way up and up and up. And now he will officially be at our live draft. And he said he'd be willing to travel. I can't remember how far away he lives, but it's a decent distance that he's coming for this thing. And he's been talking trash this entire time. He even called the radio show before and said, like, hey, I'm coming, guys. And we're like, okay, guys.
Yeah. We'll see you.
He's Triple C guy. Yeah. And now he's punched his ticket in. So I'll have to reach out to him and awesome. Start working on that. So
some people have already punched their tickets. Some people are fighting to punch their ticket. It's going to be fascinating to say the least. So it's our leagues are a lot of fun. And I think the idea of jumping up a league, if you finish in the top 3 and being relegated in the bottom 3 is a really, really cool thing that we built into our leagues many years ago. And it has been a rousing hit. I mean, absolutely fantastic hit. A couple of things off the beaten trail here before we get out of here. Number one, as you know, I'm down in New York City.
Yes.
So a couple of little bits about my New
York
City trip so far. So I saw Jerry Seinfeld live.
And
that was actually my wife's Christmas gift. I got her and me, and then my son also came with us.
Okay.
Tickets to Jerry Seinfeld. She's a big Jerry stand-up fan, but has never seen him live.
Okay.
Jerry Seinfeld was outstanding. I am absolutely shocked, to be honest with you. Not that I don't think that Jerry's a talented guy. I love Seinfeld. It's one of my favorite all-time TV shows. I've watched every show probably 5 times. But during the show, obviously he does stand up. He does those little bits at the beginning of the show and so on and so forth. Anyway, long story short, Jerry Seinfeld, the stand-up comedian, I don't laugh that much at. Now she cracks up, which is why I thought of this, because we watched the show together, and then she's cracking up, and I was like, I thought that was interesting, but belly laughing. He never has made me belly laugh. I just have always been like amused. I think he has a very intelligent kind of thought-provoking
He's
style
got great
of comedy.
observations.
Observations. That's his specialty, is making astute observations in a comedic way. But I don't. So I'm always like, but I'm never ha. And so I was worried, like, oh, this is going to be a disaster for me. I'm going to go to the show and I'm going to be like, not laugh. He had me on the floor in stitches. He was hilarious. He was really good. He was very physical. He had tons of energy. He played to the crowd. He did some very, very just simple, ordinary stuff. He did this whole bit on coffee versus tea. It was hilarious. Coffee keeps you moving through your day. Tea, it's a little wimpy thing. And he went off on it. It was hilarious. So, he had some really, really good stuff. So I really enjoyed
good
it.
to hear.
And he's doing a residency for anybody that likes comedy or likes Jerry Seinfeld. He's doing a residency at the Beacon Theater in New York. It's on like 71st Street, I think, right near Central Park, pretty close to Central Park. Jerry probably walks over there because he has a place right on Central Park West. I bet he walks to the theater when he does this residency, which is probably why he took on this Beacon Theater. It's a gorgeous theater, nice and intimate. It's got 2 balconies, but there's not a bad seat in the house. We were in one of the balconies, not a bad seat in the house. Yeah. And it's a fabulous, like built in the 1920s. It'll remind you of the Landmark Theater. I know you just went to the Landmark.
I did. Yes.
It's like that style of theater, a little smaller than the Landmark. But beautiful, beautiful theater. And just being in New York during the holidays, like, to be honest with you folks, I know some of you are not from New York, or some of you maybe are off in the weeds here. It's worth a trip. It's a nutty, crazy, crowded place. And you got to plan it. I bring my son with me. I'm so grateful that he comes because he knows the subways. He knows where everything is. So when he comes with me, I'm just like, so we want to go here next. And then boom, he's like, all right, Dad, we're going to jump on here. He gets out his phone. He's like, all right, we're going to go to this station over here, jump on this subway, 2 stops, we're there. Wow. And then we're there. We pop up and I'm like, there we are. We're at the tree. What the hell? Like, it would take me a half hour. I'd be like, oh, where do I go to get that? Which side of the tracks am I supposed to be on? I mean, I would be so lost. All right. He's like, 2 clicks on your phone. And now you tap your phone now. All right. On the subways, no more Metro card. They're putting at the bed. Okay. No more tokens. No more paying cash at the booth, which we always used to do. Right.
Yeah.
The subway is now tap your phone. Okay. You put it into your Apple Pay. I go tap, and I go boop, and then I walk into the subway. It's the craziest thing. My son knows all this. He's like, oh, here's what you're going to do, Dad. You tap your phone twice. Make sure you put your face in front. It's got to do the Face ID. Okay, bingo, and then you just tap it. I'm like, what? That's how you? Yep, boom.
Bizarre.
Right.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. Right to your credit card or your bank account or wherever you if you use Apple Wallet for anything. So super, super easy. But he got us everywhere. It was such a pleasure. Just takes all the stress out of it. So if you got a little tour guide like that, that's ideal. All right. Most of us have to navigate it ourselves. But the tree, I couldn't even get within.
I saw your picture. You said something. You made a joke about how this was as close as you could get. Right.
Here's my advice: if you want to see the tree now, okay, if one of you is about to make it, then go early in the morning, probably because there'll barely be anybody there. All right. But if you even think of going up there at 7, 8 o'clock at night, like I went up there, 6 o'clock at night when the tree's now lit, and forget it. It's 100 people deep. I couldn't even get a peek of the ice rink. That's how packed in it was. I mean, I could have stood there all day and worked my way through people, but I was like, okay, we're not doing this. So, you saw a picture from afar of the tree. That was as close as I could get to it. I was like, okay, let's go over to St. Patrick's. I did walk into St. Patrick's Cathedral while I was over there. I said a few prayers about winning the championship of the Champs League. So that was on my mind while I was over there visiting St. Patrick.
Blessed be he.
Saints. Beautiful. St. Patrick is open. So, you're able to walk right in, and they had a beautiful manger set up inside of St. Patrick's Cathedral. So if you like, that kind of stuff, you got to be a little quiet. I was like trying to not be the obnoxious tourist with my phone. Like, I did take a very brief video kind of quietly. And then I was like, okay, now I'm in a house of God now. Maybe I should not be shooting video and being like, no, man, you see that manger?
Yeah. By the way, same thing that went through my head. Me and my dad visited the Notre Dame campus, and there's churches, of course.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
And that was it. I was left like jaw on the floor. Me and my dad were just looking at these beautiful, and I'm like, the architecture, the mosaics, and you're just wowed. And I'm like, me and my dad looked at each other like, I see this. It's spectacular. I don't know if I'm going to be able to really marinate on this unless I take a picture or a video so I can refer back to it later and show other people. But we also looked around. There's all these church folk. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, am I allowed to do this? And so it was just a quick, video.
That's
Okay,
exactly what
back
I
in the
did.
pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did. And I was going down the main aisle. I was just like quick, and then I zoom into there's the altar. Oh, there's the manger over there. Check that out, people. Okay. So I didn't even post the video, but I do have it. It's
Okay,
beautiful. Oh my gosh. I had never been, believe it, I'm a native New Yorker, and I obviously grew up in Queens. I had
Yeah.
never been inside St. Patrick's Cathedral. I've
Really?
been outside
Oh,
the building
wow.
many times, just never had a reason to go in there.
Okay.
And I was like, let's go in. I've never gone in. It's Christmas time. Let's see what. And I
Sure.
couldn't believe it was open. I was like, wow, people are just walking in. This is incredible.
Mhm.
And you were able to walk right up to the altar and over to the manger, and some people were taking pictures. It was, again, it's a church, so it's subdued.
Yeah.
People praying. It's like, okay,
Right.
I shouldn't be like, hey, check out the manger.
Yeah, we're live here at the
live, and there's the manger over there. They haven't put the baby Jesus in there yet.
Here's some
wanted to do the
people
play-by-play,
praying.
but
Yep, they're hoping to
So-
land. Yeah, right.
but it was still cool to go in there and to experience that. But there's just so much, like, you can't run out of things to do in New York. I could go back 3 straight days now, and I'd still be looking for things to do. So now the city it's got a great vibe around the holidays.
Mhm.
It's just a fun place to be. So it's
But real
definitely
quick,
worth
just
your time.
great to
make
hear about Jerry.
Yeah.
Just great to hear about, because, like, again, it's
Fantastic.
sort of,
He was great.
yeah, there's 2 things. So you just helped me on that one. There's 2 people that 2 things that I really love that I want to see live, but I'm afraid of, like, it destroying my entire image of it. It was Jerry, because I love Seinfeld, and
You'll love him.
I've seen some of Jerry's stand up on Instagram, but I haven't seen a full set or anything. So that really got me. So you just helped me there. Thank God. That sounds good. The other one was some Practical Jokers. Like, how would they be? I love the show, but what would it be like in a live atmosphere? Would it be boring? Are they playing videos? Are they not giving me the full experience? That's another one on my bucket list.
Have you done that yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
I have. So I'm going to give you
Oh,
the skinny on
okay.
that too. All right. You're
All
going
right.
to get 2 reviews in one here from me.
Okay. All right.
I think you're going to feel a little bit the opposite way about the Impractical Jokers. Now, I love the Impractical. I'm just like you.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the silliness. I told you one
Yeah.
of my cousin is related to Murph.
Yeah. Right. So you know a guy. Right.
Yeah, I know a guy. Like, yeah, because they don't do what you expect they would do. They don't roll out much in terms of video.
Mhm.
They don't like do things to the crowd, because the crowd is in on the joke anyway. So how could you even do it? Right. So there's like kind of nowhere for them to go. And so they do their best to be silly, funny, kind of quasi stand-up kind of thing, but it just doesn't. I was entertained, but I was like, did I pay for that? Like it was, yeah, I don't think it'll live up to what you hope. Now, I went in with very high expectations. So if you go in with lower expectations, maybe you'll come out and say, that was an entertaining night. But to compare going to see Seinfeld, it wouldn't even be a comparison. And I love the Impractical Jokers.
Wow. Yeah. So I've seen Joe Gatto live, but he didn't do anything. It was his own thing.
Right.
It had nothing
Just
to do with the
stand-up,
Practical
right.
Jokers. Straight up stand, and that was hilarious. But
Sal
there's
does
no
stand
video
up too.
element.
He's been doing
Yeah,
stand-up
right.
lately.
I have not
Mhm.
seen Sal by himself, although he travels around. But right, the triplets now, because Joe isn't with them for that. I've heard that they do like their own like sort of Impractical
Right.
Joker show. I've not seen
Yeah.
that before. So okay, that's what I was afraid of. So I guess
Yeah.
we'll
So I
see
mean,
if that ever
again,
occurs.
I think you'd be entertained, but I think in the end you'd be disappointed more than you'd be like, wow. Like I went into Seinfeld having very muted expectations. I was like, wow, that was actually really good. I would pay for that again. That was good. And
Okay,
I would highly advise this Beacon Theater. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's just a gorgeous theater, and it's intimate, and it's nice. Yeah, it was just great. It was like a city
Okay.
day. Felt great.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Okay, give
Really
me
cool.
some other of your what other New York Nuggets do you have?
Yeah, I mean, again, my wife had never seen the towers, so
Okay.
last time I went down to the Freedom Tower, last trip I was in last season, like it was just
Mhm.
after Christmas that I went into the city with my son. But she had never seen the reflecting pools in the tower, so we didn't go up the tower like I did with my son last time. But we skirted around it and saw
Mhm.
that. They have this cool thing called the Oculus, which is it's a train station that they built into the ground. I mean, it was always a train station
Okay.
there, but then they built this thing over the top of it, and it's like a 3-level mall. And you go in, it doesn't even look that big, and then you get in, it's like, whoa, this place is massive. So they built a
Interesting.
mall into the train station right at World Trade Center area there.
Wow.
So that was cool. Walked over to see the Trinity Church, which is in
Of course. Yeah.
is the pretty little church. It doesn't even look like it belongs in Manhattan. That's in the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage.
Oh
That's
yeah, I love that.
the
Yeah.
church where
Nicolas Cage,
where
right,
they
yeah.
finally find the treasure. It's below the church.
Yeah.
That's Trinity Church.
Yeah.
So it's this pretty church, and they deck it out at Christmas time. So Of course, you've got the stock market is right there as well. You can go see the big bull if you want to go see him. I didn't see him this time, but you can go see the bull. So that downtown area is kind of cool. And then we once again, this was a little bit of a repeat for me because my wife was not with me on that last trip.
Right.
So we did the High Line, which I talked to you about last time. Just this essentially this boardwalk that they built that used to be the Hudson Yards rail that used to run up I think it's the west side of the city, and they turned it into a beautiful boardwalk with all this green space. It's crazy, and you weave between the buildings. It's just gorgeous. It's a 20 to 25-minute walk, but you love every minute of it. And there's just so much. There's people, and it's active, and it's just a cool thing to do, cold or not. It was pretty cold.
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
day.
Oh, cool.
We were pretty bundled up, but it was that's great. I'd love to go back there in the summer and just hang out.
No, that's cool.
Chill with some city people. Very, very cool. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we didn't get a lot more than that in because we had the show, and the show was at 5:00, so that kind of messed up the whole day in some ways. But yeah, we at least got a few things done. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'll get in another day or not before I get out of here because
I guess we'll see.
Coming back on the weekend, so we'll see. Maybe I can get in for another day and do something fun.
All right, awesome.
Okay. Anyway, I sorry to bore everybody with my trip, but I don't think it's boring. I think if you go into the city, you'll enjoy it, and hopefully it's great to learn from each other's experiences when we do things. Like, that's worth it. Don't do that, So, but I would say Jerry Seinfeld,
interesting
A+ for the Manchild.
Okay.
Not expecting to give him an A+. I thought it was going to be a C to a C+ when I walked in there, and it was an A+. Jerry was terrific, and he had it, man. Whatever that night, he had it. So that was a blast. It was really
Jerry.
All right. Blast. So Jerry delivered big time. Okay. Well, as I say, that puts a nice, neat bow on this one. We got a lot of football to talk about this week. We are not, as you mentioned earlier, going to do the Wednesday show. Again, one more time, congrats to Hep. Hep, I have your autograph picture here. Hep is the winner. He was drawn randomly out of our 425 subscribers. Yep. At the 425 mark, I promised to give away this autographed Hanson Brothers from the movie Slapshot autograph photo that I've had in my possession for many years. I'm going to send it to Hep this week. And congratulations. Thanks for being a subscriber. And that's all any of you need to be is just be a subscriber. It's absolutely free. And you can win free stuff. We're giving away a golf club, 500. Paul's giving away the Jets program. If you want to flash that one more time, you can flash that at 450. Sure. I may go. I'm trying to come up with a 475. I'm just liking this every 25. Let's give away.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
So because we're on a march to get to 500 subscribers. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm thinking about those bobbleheads. Maybe I don't know if I want to give them away yet.
Really, for 475? It should be a little richer than that.
Hold on for a bigger thing. I don't know. I want to inspire people to.
Well, I guess that's true. All right,
to be part of our family. I think it's always the family that you build at the foundation of things. I know you've been doing your Jets channel now for 5 years.
Good point.
Okay. Do you not remember the people at the beginning?
Oh, I absolutely do.
People that help you build. It's like the building you're building, right? And you remember the foundation the most. Those people that were in right away. They just said, "I'm going to support you, man. I'm going to be part of you." Well, I want to do that for I think those first 500, maybe inevitably our first 1,000 subscribers are going to be people that are going to be the bedrock of our show.
The core, yeah.
They're the ones that are saying, "Hey, you're doing enough for me to want to show up." Frequently. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
And comment or just watch and enjoy. So yeah, I want to reward those people.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah, I got a set of Anchorman bobbleheads.
So cool.
It's a set of 5, except I don't have Ron Burgundy, so it's a set of 4 because I gave my Burgundy away years ago to somebody I worked with. I never should have given that bobblehead away. I'm sorry I did. But the other 4 are really, really cool.
Sure.
And you can go out there in the ethos and try and get yourself Ron if you want to complete the collection.
Right.
But they're just really cool. They're very unique looking bobbleheads.
Okay, I think I remember them all. So let's see. We've got Brian Fantana. Okay.
Yep. And he's holding on to a little mini panther, I think. In it,
the Sex Panther.
The Sex Panther.
Okay.
So
there you go.
He's got a little mini panther.
We've got Champ Kind.
He's wearing the big cowboy hat, the sports guy. He's got the giant cowboy hat on.
Obviously, we've got Veronica Corningstone.
That's correct.
And then Brick Tamlin.
Brick Tamlin
who is
the
Steve
weather
Carell.
Guy. Yes,
Steve Carell. Who's like, I love lamp or loud noises. Yeah, so
it's terrific. Things. Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's phenomenal. So again, the Lurch, we're doing free giveaways, people, free. You see that YouTube link right there on your screen. Again, we have over 400 people in the room. We're streaming live in a lot of different places. You could have landed here a lot of different ways, but the primary place of business is right there. That's youtube.com/@MC Show Digital. Again, we've got another 20 spots or so left for this Jets giveaway I'm doing, which is right here. But every mile marker we reach, 425, 450, 475. We're doing giveaways. If you remain a subscriber, maybe you missed out on the slap shot photo, no problem. As long as you remain a subscriber, you're in for the Jets giveaway,
Right.
then for the bobblehead giveaway, then the golf club giveaway. So it's a cool thing. So just keep being engaged and being involved, and boy, you have a chance to win some action.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, look, that's going to put a wrap on it for today. Thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. And if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe right now and get in on the next giveaway. It'll be that Jets program. And then I'll line up those bobbleheads. I'll shoot a little video. I think I'm going to do that at 475, although I got some other interesting items. So it's not fully decided yet, but I think that would be one that might move the meter a little bit, get people racing to the subscribe button. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Thanks to all of you that support us, though. Already at this point, you are the foundation. You are the bedrock of what we've been doing for the last not quite 6 months yet, but we're heading towards our 6-month anniversary, suppose right around year's end as we roll into 2026. Again, for those of you that don't know, we were built around a radio show that was on the air for over 25 years. So it's not like we've just arrived, but this has been a little bit of a new circus for us, dare I say, getting into the digital world. But we're loving it, and we're loving interacting with you folks. Thanks again for everybody that commented today. We read all your comments and try to react to as many of them as possible. I know some of them are just meant to amuse us in some way, so perhaps they don't get thrown up on the screen, but we are amused. I can tell you that. Yes. We are always amused. Thanks again to Dalton Wasserman for joining us today. Again, and we'll be back tomorrow at noon, you said, right?
Correct.
Well,
yeah, so
Joe
here's
Bartle,
a couple of
right?
Yeah.
Joe Bartle. Okay, set us up.
Real quick on our way out. We got Joe Bartle, so we'll do a fantasy football interview live. We'll sort of have some fun with me and Lurge facing off for the fantasy championship. Plus, of course, answer some of your questions. That'll be live at noon. We'll have our Anthony Prohaska interview. That'll be coming out tomorrow. So some Buffalo Bills for the Bills fans in our audience. That will be coming out. We will do our normal Friday NFL picks on Friday, so stay tuned for that later in the week. We won't pick the games on Christmas, but we'll pick the games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That'll be coming up on Friday. You guys will be able to pick that with the fans. So we've got some Bills. No Survivor. The finale was last week, so Survivor's over.
Correct.
We'll come back with some Survivor content over the coming weeks and months. So enjoy the holidays, and we'll be back for one of the most anticipated Survivor seasons of all time, Survivor 50. Ed Valentine should be on the docket. I'll keep you posted. Again, some of the holiday stuff is up in the air, so we should have some Giants. We should have some Bills, maybe some Jets as well. So stay tuned to the channel. That'll be coming. But yes, the next time we'll see you is live tomorrow at noon.
Okay, we'll see you, folks. Take care.